In this video, what I'm going to do is go through a repair of this end of a bunk bed. My friend brought this over, and this is a bunk bed for their kids. And over the years, taking the hardware off and on has stripped out these bolts or these wood screws. This is MDF fiberboard, and they have this bracket that's on here, and they line up, and these holes have all gotten stripped. So they asked if there was something I could do to repair that, and I told them there's a couple different options. One option would be to take and drill each of these holes out and then put these dowels in there, and then they'd be starting with fresh wood that was actually harder wood than this MDF, and that would work. Another option, and the option I think I'm going to try out at first, is to use the screw inserts that are available. And I'm talking about these types of screw inserts. I have a bag full, and these are 8x32. They call them Easy Lock. You put them in and out with an Allen wrench, and all you have to do is drill the right size. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can try that method. So I'm going to go ahead and put these screw inserts into each of these. Should be an easy repair. I'm using 832. They have all kinds of inserts, 1/4 832, you name it. The directions on the bag say you want to put a drill guide of 15/64, so I have a 15/64 inch drill bit in here, and I put a little ring collet on here. You could use blue tape, whatever you want, to try to avoid from going through and into the other side. So that's the goal. We'll see how well we do. And if I was really being persnickety, I would make sure I would use a straight drill guide, but I'm going to see if I can do this by hand and see how everything lines up here. So let's see what we can do with a couple of these. Validate I didn't come through. Thank goodness I didn't. And so now I take the insert, put it into the hole I drilled, and go ahead and screw that on in. Now what I like to do with these inserts is I normally, after I make sure that I'm getting it in there right, I like to go ahead and put a little super glue in there. So I think I'll do that here next. Is I'm going to put a little dab of super glue in at least a few of these, and helps hold it in. So I called it super glue, but it's really CA glue. Use whatever brand you want. I've got some Star Bond right here that I'll be using. And the other thing I want to do is make sure that when I put that in there that the 832 holes fit through there. I already did that once, but at least to demonstrate on camera, you want to make sure that the 832 holes fit through the bracket, and they do. And once they line up, then maybe they go this way. Yep, they go that way. You can see the countersink there. And now you can just screw right in there, get the right size of 832 screws, which in this case look like they're going to be 832 by 1/2 inch. So let's go ahead and move forward and start drilling the rest of these holes. Put just a drop. Let me get a little sandpaper, sand that off a little bit. Now I do highly recommend that you put these inserts in by hand so that you don't end up stripping everything else out. You can feel when they're snugging up. Don't use your nut driver. These will work much better by hand, based on my previous experience. Something's not right with this one. So I'm going to pull it out. So what I decided to do is drill that one out since it's not fitting right. See if we can get another one in its place. Looks to me like that's about as tight as I'm going to get it. Let's see how it fits up. That should be acceptable. Alright, so now we have that on there. Now I just have to get some 8.32 by 1/2 inch bolts and everything should fit up pretty good. Okay, I'm back. I went to the store to get some 8.32 screws because all of mine were too long. And I wanted to test this out for my friend before I turned it over to him. Okay, one thing is important is that you don't try to tighten down one screw first. You got to get them all kind of started so you can move it around a little bit. And then you'll tighten them down after everything's been started. Okay, there we go, nice and tight. Now we just need to get the other side matched up and put in. Well, that's a wrap on this video. I actually did that repair a couple weeks ago, and I didn't film the summary or some other things I might have been able to capture, but I think the video did a pretty good job of explaining how you could go about repairing a piece of furniture, especially furniture that's made out of MDF or something else that's not solid, but it works with solid furniture also. If you have stripped out holes or areas that you can no longer insert your hardware in. And that was a situation for this piece of furniture. Now remember, in summary, there were two ways I talked about I could approach this. I am sure there are many more. The first method I talked about was actually using these dowels. And I've done this a number of times where I put dowels in, I drill out the hole, put the dowel in, and then I can use that to screw the other hardware into it. The challenge with that was, with that thin furniture, it was pretty thin and it was MDF, it wasn't solid wood, is that you really want to have a good grip with this dowel in there. So that meant, as thin as it was, I was probably going to have to put it through. And if I put it through, then that meant that the dowel would be showing on the other side of the furniture. And I didn't want to do that if I could help it. The other way was using the inserts that I did. And they come in all kinds of different sizes, and I find them very handy for both constructing furniture that I want to be able to put together and take apart multiple times, and for making these types of repairs. And in the end, this repair worked quite fine. Look at the results. My friend was quite happy with the ability to put his bunk bed back together. I do hope you found this information useful. It was a little different than most of my videos, but my motto is learn, share, and inspire. And so whenever I come across a tip, and in this case I was repairing that furniture and know that that's a thing that people have to do a lot, I thought I'd share it. And maybe if you're trying to repair something, this will give you an idea or two about how you could repair that furniture. You all know what I ask. Give me a like, share, comment, and get the word out there for the channel so it can grow. Again, until we meet in this medium, have a great life.